Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, GHA family and friends. We are back with another homework helper video, and today this one is for 6th grade, okay? So this is Module 4, Lesson 11, all right? So tonight, this homework is only 2 questions, okay? Number 2 has an A, B, C, and a D though. So I'm gonna go over number 1, and I'm gonna pick one to go over in number 2, okay? So let's read the directions, and then we're gonna get started. Problem set tonight, it says use models to prove that 3 open parentheses A plus B close parentheses is equivalent to 3A plus 3B, okay? So I'm gonna write these on the board, and no, I'm not gonna draw the model because I believe you guys are capable of doing this. So I'm just gonna show you how they're equivalent, and then you can draw the model, okay? So we got 3 A plus B, and then we have okay. All right, so these are the 2 expressions that you should have for number 1, all right? So if we're using the distributive property, then that means that we're saying we're multiplying 3 by A and 3 by B and adding it together. So what's 3 times A? It's 3A. We keep our sign. What's 3 times B? Is 3B. All right, so do you see that here? Okay. So if we wanted to factor this, we would find the greatest common factor of this, which is 3, because they're both 3. So what we would do is we would pull the 3 out, put it in parentheses, A plus B, okay? So we pulled the 3 out, put it right outside of the parentheses. That lets us know that we're gonna multiply by both. So it's also saying this, which is gonna help you figure out your model, okay? Check this out. If we're doing 3A and 3Bs, wouldn't we also be doing this? Okay? So this is gonna help you create your model. They wanna see it 3 times. They want 3 times the sum of A plus B, okay? Or they want the sum of 3 A's and 3 B's. Those are the same thing. So you gotta take your time and read through this and make sure that it sounds right to you, okay? All right, so that's what you're gonna do with number 1. You're gonna draw 2 models. You're gonna model this one, and you're gonna model this one, okay? All right, so number 2. Now we're getting into that greatest common factor things that we've been learning, okay? So number 2, I'm gonna read those directions. It says, use the greatest common factor and the distributive property to write equivalent expressions in the factored form for the following expressions, okay? All right, so let's do A, okay? So we got 4D plus 12E. 4D plus 12E, okay? All right, so what we want to do is we want to find the greatest common factor of both of these, between both of these numbers, all right? So here's how we do that. GCF So what I like to do is I would like to write the smaller number here, the bigger number here, and I like to list those numbers that you can multiply together to get 4, and numbers that you can multiply together to get 12, okay? So we can multiply 1 multiplied by 4, and we can multiply 2 by 2, and we can also multiply 4 by 1 to get 4. So those are all the numbers that you can multiply together to get 4, okay? In some form or fashion, okay? Now we're gonna do the factors of 12, okay? So we know, of course, we can multiply 1 by 12, okay? We can multiply 2 by 6. We can multiply 3 by 4. We can multiply 4 by 3. And we can multiply 6 by 2, okay? And then lastly, 12. But of course, we didn't need to go that high because we already found what we needed, right? So greatest common factor means that we're gonna find the one that they have in common, the highest number that they have in common here. All right, so they have 1 in common, they have 2 in common, they don't have 3 in common, they have 4 in common. Do they have any other numbers in common? No, so 4 would be the highest one that they have in common. So that's the number that we're gonna pull out to use for our distributive property. The number 4 is a number that's gonna be outside of our parentheses, okay? So it looks like this. I'm gonna write it in blue, okay? We're gonna pull the 4 out, open our parentheses, okay? So if we want 4D, well, we already got our 4, so we can just put our D here, okay? And then we need to keep our sign, the plus sign, okay? So now that we've pulled the 4 out, what can we multiply the 4 by to make 12, okay? Anybody know? All right, 4 times 3 is gonna give us 12, okay? So we can put 3E here. So 4 times 3E is gonna give us 12E, and 4 times D is gonna give us 4D, okay? And we can close our parentheses, all right? So that is how you're going to pick out your numbers, okay? You're gonna take the 2 numbers that you see, the 2 coefficients, remember? Pull out the 2 coefficients that you see, okay? There may even be 3, but I think for our homework tonight, we just have 2. You're gonna pull out your coefficients. You're gonna find the greatest common factor. The number that you find to be the greatest common factor, you're gonna put that outside of your parentheses, okay? And then you're gonna begin to use that number to multiply, okay? So just a reminder of the distributive property. You're taking this 4 and multiplying it by the D. And then you're taking this 4 and you're multiplying it by 3E. And that's how you get 4D plus 12E. And that's an equivalent expression. So we went from expanded to factored distributive property. All right, have a good evening.